You tried growing out your hair, but it doesn't look how you expected it to. You don't know what products you're supposed to use or how to style it, so now you're completely discouraged and about to cut it all off. How do I know this? Because I was there too. That's why today I'm going to be giving you guys the 3 mistakes you're probably making and how you can fix them to make your hair look amazing once and for all. Mistake number 1. You have no idea what your hair type is. Let me take a wild guess. You're still using the same drugstore products that you've been using ever since you've had short hair. You probably remember your hair being decently healthy back when you had shorter hair, so why would that change now? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but that is wrong. Here's why. Think of your hair like a rope, but the rope grows a little bit each day. If you always cut off the old rope before it dries out, you're always gonna have fresh new rope. But if you stop cutting that rope and it starts to get exposed to the sun and starts to wear out over time, the rope will eventually snap or at least look extremely damaged. So that means that using the right hair products for your hair type and having a good hair care routine will ensure that your hair always looks strong and will always look great. Unfortunately, I can't give you the one-size-fits-all hair product or hair care routine because each one of you watching right now has your own unique hair type. And each hair type has its own specific requirements to keep your hair strong and healthy. The 5 key things to look at in order to find your hair type is curl pattern, scalp moisture levels, hair texture, scalp density, and hair porosity. Now, if you want to learn about these 5 things that I just mentioned, I highly recommend the video I made last week about the complete guide in finding your hair type. I'll even leave a link in the description for you guys to watch. So once you've watched that and have found your specific hair type, if you're someone that has very fine textured hair and your hair is very lightweight, you're someone who needs to avoid heavier products. And you need to start looking for products that are made to add volume to your hair. Now there are tons of different options to choose from, but a recommendation I can give you guys that I personally use is the volumizing shampoo and conditioner from Pete and Pedro. Now, let's say you are on the complete opposite end and you have very thick and coarse hair. You're actually going to want a heavier product that will weigh your hair down just to make sure that your hair doesn't get all crazy and frizzy. So now you should know how important it is to find your hair type. And this is one of the most common mistakes men make when it comes to their hair. So remember when I said I highly recommend you should go watch my video on how to find your hair type? Well, I seriously meant it because mistake number 2 is that most guys will actually give themselves the wrong hair type. And this is another super common hair mistake that most guys make. For example, if you're a guy who's always had short hair, you might think your hair is nothing but straight, it's type 1, and that's it. But if you decide to start growing it out, you might actually notice the longer it gets, the more wavy it gets. So in reality, you thought you've always had type 1 hair, which is straight, but you've actually had 2B hair all along. So yes, you heard me correctly. If you are someone who has short hair right now and you think it's a type 1 hair, I can almost guarantee the fact that if you start to grow it out, you will notice some sort of wave pattern. And it's super important to know this because that means your hair routine should change. For example, if you're following a routine for type 1 straight hair, but your hair always ends up looking super frizzy, this is a sign you should change up your hair routine. I'd recommend to start trying more hair care practices for curly hair, like applying a curl cream or brushing your hair less often. Just these 2 changes can be an absolute game changer because it'll bring out those natural waves and curls that you've had that you didn't even know about. And if you want to see my hair care routine on how I get my naturally wavy and curly hair, I will also leave that in the description below. Now on to mistake number 3. You don't know how to grow out your hair properly. Listen, if you decide to grow out your hair, you're gonna come across a stage called the awkward stage. The awkward stage is when your hair isn't long, but it isn't short. It ultimately just ends up looking really weird. But what if I told you I know how to completely avoid this stage? How, you may ask? You must shape your hair as it grows. Guys will grow out their hair from all sorts of different haircuts, like the undercut, buzz cut, and for me, it was the fringe. And they think that to get to the desired look that they want, they'll just grow it out and nothing else. And that, my friends, is exactly how you'll end up in the awkward stage. It's too long to style it up and it's too short to tie it up. So what you need to do is book an appointment with your stylist and bring in a photo of your end goal. For example, the picture I showed my stylist was a picture of Alex Eubank. His hair is what I wanted my hair to look like when it was done growing. However, you need to make sure that the person you're going to show your stylist has the same hair type as you. So if you have thinning hair on top, don't go show your stylist a picture of Timothée Chalamet. You need to be realistic. Once you found the appropriate hairstyle you want, ask the stylist to shape your hair in a way that once your hair starts to grow out, it'll look like your picture. This will actually balance out a lot of the awkwardness. And the reason you want to ask a stylist to do this is because a stylist might add some texture, some layers, even out everything, so it'll look good at each stage of when you're growing it out. And that, my friends, was the 3 most common mistakes men make that makes their long hair look bad. If you want to continue to level up your hair, I will give you 2 videos right here you should watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one.